Hello everyone, today we're looking at fishing science. Now I've been fishing more often recently since I've finished work due to some health conditions, and I've made a few subtle changes to my setup and how I kind of fish. And not only have I improved my overall enjoyment of fishing, I've also caught more fish as well. So this might be something of interest to you. Let's take a look. This is your typical feeder rod style setup. You have your seat, your rod, roughly 45-degree angle, so you can see the rod tip when you get indications. Looking there at it from the side profile, whether you're in a seat or on a seat box, the posture is roughly about the same. So what I find in this situation is when I'm sitting comfortably and looking straight ahead, I can see the whole of the lake in front of me, and I've got good vision of what's going on around me as well. And the only thing is, the rod tip is right down here out of my peripheral view, which means I have to look down. The rest of the lake is then in my peripheral vision, which is out of focus, so I can't see what's going on as much. Plus my head is in this downward stance, which, as we know from using a computer at a desk, for example, if you were using a laptop, you'd be typing away and you'd be looking down at the screen. So they would recommend you using a monitor so you can bring your head up and your eyes would be level with the top of the monitor, and that's a lot more comfortable. So applying that theory to being comfortable in fishing, ideally I want to be sitting upright relatively and looking ahead, which means I need my rod tip in view, and that's where one of the first changes comes into effect. So the simple change I've made is by swapping over the rod rests, having the much larger one at the front and the smaller one at the back, raising that rod tip so it's more in line with what I'm looking at straight ahead. I found this to be much more comfortable than by looking down at the rod tip. And as someone once said to me when I was a youngster, if you're comfortable, you'll fish better. So now I can see the rod tip and I can see everything going on around me, and I'm more comfortable as well. The other part of what I've changed is trying to avoid liners as much as possible. Now in this bottom diagram, we can see that if you have your rod tip down, your line is very close to the water, and the idea is it cuts down nice and low all the way to your feeder. This is the lake, we're fishing on the bank here, and this is the far bank. So what you can see here is your line is cutting through the majority of the water, so any fish coming left and right of you are most likely going to hit the line. Now the advantage of having your rod tip up in the air and having your line come down is you actually do miss a portion of water because your line is out of the water, meaning less line overall. Now the other advantage to that is if you do get a liner, you know it's going to be in this segment of the line. Whereas here, if you get a liner, it could be down here by the rod tip, or it could even be down here by the feeder, or anywhere in between. So my theory is fishing that slack line and having it higher up reduces the amount of liners, and if you do get liners, you know they're closer to your feeder, which means you might need to then cast slightly further back to hit the fish. Now in regards to liners, if you do fish a tight line, if the fish swims into the line, it's either going to move the rod tip, giving you an indication, or it's going to move the feeder, which is definitely what we don't want. And that tight line is most likely going to spook the fish. So now I've been fishing with a very slack line, meaning that if the fish swims into it, I can physically see that line move up and down, but it's still very loose. Doesn't spook the fish, doesn't move the rod tip, doesn't move the feeder. But when you do get a take, that rod tip soon whips round and you're in. So for me, when I'm watching the line, gives me a lot more visual indication of what's going on in the water. Well, we're into our first fish of the day. That was the first cast as well. Taken, what, 20 minutes? Absolutely ripped off. God, blimey. Looks like a nice fish too. Just fishing over by the pads there. I'm actually in the next swim along from the last time I was fishing here. God. Looks like a really good fish. Come away from that pole though. Don't get in there. That's it. Oh, it's a beautiful looking fish. Oh, don't lose it now, Gordy. Come on. Come on. Oh, it's not ready yet. Oof. I really don't want to lose this one. Come on. Come on, girl. Yes. We got you. We got you. Right, first fish of the day. Let's get the mat all nice and wet. What a great start. Right, let's have a look at you. Ugh. God, it's a right old lump. How about that for the first fish of the day? Look at the size of it. I'll put this one on the scales quickly just to have a quick look. What a gorgeous fish for the start of the day. Absolutely perfect. And that has gone 9.5 pounds. 9.5 pounds. 9.5 pounds of mirror carp. Absolutely gorgeous. Right, let's get this one back. It's the biggest fish we've had for a while. There you go. When I prepared my pellets at home yesterday, I added some of the Sonia Bates salted caramel haze to the pellets when I added the water. So I'm not adding it afterwards, but you can see the pellets have got a bit of a golden texture to them. So it's already in there. So that's all I'm doing. Pellets in the mould with the wafter on the method feeder. Well, this is the third cast. Second fish for the day though. I did get a run on the second cast, but it took me straight into the pads and it fell off the hook. I'm seeing a lot of activity down to the pads, just down to the left though. Oh, now this one's going to wake up. So I'm going to try a feeder down there in a moment. This was about 20 minutes. Not bad for this time of year. This is certainly giving me the runaround. Where are you? Go! Now it's waking up. Don't think it's as big as the last one. No, definitely not as big as the last one. It's another mirror carp. and it definitely doesn't want to come in. Ooh, it's off to the pads. It's not massive, but it's got plenty of fight in it. There we go. Now you're ready. That's it. We got them. Look at that. Another gorgeous little mirror carp. I won't weigh this one. We'll get this one back in. But yeah, another cracking fish. There we go. It's working today. Perfect. Have you got anything to say for the camera, Mr. Fish? Well, you could like and subscribe. Well, that's very true. If you enjoyed the content, you could like and subscribe. It's absolutely free, and you'll get to see more of this content. Right, let's get this one back in. Well, we're into another fish. This one looks like an F1, similar to what we were catching before last week. Nice looking fish though. Whee! Good solid take as well. Come on in. Oh, not ready yet. Now you're ready. There you go, gotcha. Third fish of the day, nice F1. Beautiful. And that's all on the rigged and ready X5 Max Adventure travel rod that I use. Wouldn't be able to go fishing on the motorcycle without it. Right, let's get this one back. That'll be a fish in. Oh yes. Cool, that was a wallop and a half. I wonder if it's going to be another one of these smaller F1s. No, it's a mirror carp. Quite a nice one too. Whee. Nice and steady. God, blimey. Just when you think it's going to start coming in. Cool, there's a fair old chunk. Cool. Yeah, starting to wake up now. Come on, let's get you away from those pads. Ooh. Only got a size 14 hook on. Normally fish with a 12. And ironically, we've had a couple of good fish today. It's always the way, isn't it? Right then, Mr. Fish, are you ready? No, he's not ready. Not ready at all. Not ready at all. Staying very deep. Oof. Oh, it's off on another lunge. Oh my goodness. God. Just when you think it's starting to lose the battle, starts to fight back again. God, blimey. Yeah, that's how I'm feeling. Oh. I think it's ready. No. Let me just get its head up. Come on then. Let's be having it. Yes! In the net. Very nice. There we go. Another 9.5 pound mirror carp. Just like the first one we had. Absolute warrior. Absolutely gorgeous fish. Stunning. Right, let's get this one back in. Come on in. Well, I just had to retreat into the shelter a little bit. It's starting to rain a little bit now. But we've had a pretty good day's fishing. That first fish was very nice indeed. So hopefully you've seen a little bit of the method to my madness. And who knows, it might have even given you something to think about in your fishing as well. So I hope everyone gets out soon on the banks, has a good time and catches lots of fish. I'll see you in the next one.